to Hundor, he stayed in range within the Churnwalker hook. He didn't realize how much damage it would continuously deal to him, and that's how he died. He died single-handedly to that hook and chain at the very end when he got solo.
Absolutely, and now we have to start to talk about the third game in this series, and I'm curious, gentlemen, what can G2 do to come back into this series? Because it feels like game one was a lot stronger for them. Is that maybe a strategy that they need to fall back to? Maybe try and play that same style once again?
Absolutely. They need to go and head and get themselves a strong mid-game. We talk about G2 having a great late game, and we talk about Tribe having a great early game, but whoever controls the mid-game is the team that ends up running away with these or making the games exceptionally close like we saw in game one.
Yeah, they also should get off the Batiste as well, and also don't pick up Baron into double mobile carries such as Razer and Sky, who are really good into Baron. So I feel like their draft needs to be a little different. And wow, they're going to pull up the trump card here and first pick a Lorelei.
I mean, it's win or go home. You've got to play a trump card if you've got it right now.
And that's the great thing about a best of 5 is if you still have something in your pocket that you can pull up, you can bring it out and hopefully get a reverse sweep here in this series in the quarterfinals.
I feel like reverse sweep is almost a swear word this early on in this series. We'll see if they can take it game by game. But that's the thing. You're absolutely right. If they can do that, they have to take it game by game. They have to look at this one as a best of one, win this, and then move forward. Forget the rest of the series.
The thing that I want to the early game, or not the early game, throughout the first game and the second game, Tribe had much easier win conditions with their compositions, and that's how they're winning the draft. The winning draft is the one that brings you out with an easier win condition, as something, a plan that's easier to execute on, and Tribe has been the team that's had those throughout the last 2 games.
Yeah, a game is not won or lost in the draft, but it can certainly give you a very strong edge going onto the fold. So with this Koshka, again, early game pressure is going to be the name of the game for Tribe.
Yeah, there's Vox, Baron still up. You pick Vox, G2 can pick the Baron to counter that. However, Baron is weak to Koshka. There's also Weapon Sky with Koshka is very, very strong. So I feel like Tribe will probably take the Weapon Sky here because if they don't, G2 will probably take it away.
Grace is going to be the lock-in here for Tribe. So making sure that they have that sustain for the longer team fights. And this is looking very similar to what they drafted in game number 1. We'll see if G2 can see that starting to build in front of their eyes and maybe find a different way to go against it.
Yeah, I mean, right now, obviously, it's going to be very difficult to find a composition for G2 that can deal with both Grace and Koshka. These two pair so well together, just like we always talk about the Black Feather and the Grace. The Koshka and the Grace is a very similar strategy because it's all about just jumping in with the Koshka, and then as she's trying to get away, when you start to focus her, you throw the Divine Intervention onto her, and all of a sudden you can't get a kill.
They can actually play Rhyme here. Rhyme is actually a good counter to Grace and Koshka. He can stand his ground, get a lot of fortified health, and then be able to fight Grace and Taka.
Really wants a Rhyme to come out in the World Series.
I mean, 100% win rate, right?
Pretty frequently, but
it would be very surprising just because he got nerfed so hard in 2.10. What I would say is a good pick here is Vox. It plays both against the Koshka and the Grace. If you get a poison shift, you reduce the heals coming out from the Divine Interventions. And Hundor, we mentioned before, he plays it very well. Looks like it's going to be a CP Lorelei potentially.
Yeah, Jungle Lorelei is actually very strong. Her fish food actually lasts for 8 seconds, so her clear is very strong. That's what makes junglers so good, like Koshka, etc. Because they have fast clear, they're going to be really good rotation-wise.
The other thing is Tribe, when they have the Koshka, they like to pick a late-game focused carry in the lane, and the late-game focused carries are often fairly immobile, and if you put the fish food underneath an immobile carry, it does a ton of damage.
Jungle Lorelei is something that we actually saw Ace Gaming play earlier against Hunters in the matches coming up from Group D. They played him in the played her in the jungle, and played her. Tasa picked up an aftershock on her, very interestingly. It does seem like it's going to be also the Vox that I talked about. I mean, with this composition, it just seems like it's all about Hundor. Protect the Hundor, a very classic G2 composition, so going back to their roots once their backs are against the wall here.
Yeah, they cannot pick Baron. Baron has more range than Vox. Definitely not as strong early, but you have Koshka and Grace who are both very strong early, and Baron can carry that late game, so they can go for Weapon Sky here or a Baron is the obvious picks for Tribe at this second. With Lorelei, the cooldown Aftershock build is really good because she can actually put multiple splashdowns, which empowers her abilities. And it's going to be a weapon Adagio coming out here. Wow.
Adagio for Dienzio. We saw in the Summer Unified Championships It was Old School and Dienzio both running this Adagio. Dienzio trying to make a statement here as they look to get themselves into the semifinals.
All right, we need to get into game number 3 of the quarterfinals here. Gentlemen, can G2 do it here? Can they pull themselves back into the series, or is this going to be a clean sweep for Tribe?
This is definitely going to be a clean sweep, but both drafts are decent.
All right.
Yeah, G2 has a solid draft here, but Tribe has just looked the better team. I think Tribe takes this 3-0.
I'm going to stick it out with G2 just because they actually have the best draft throughout the series so far.
My man over there on the desk.
Nothing if not persistent.
2 for 1 there for Tribe. We'll see what the scoreline is going to be as they head on into the game. It's time to hit the 3rd game of this quarterfinal. It's time to see if Europe's hopes are going to die with this next game.
Europe desperately trying to stay in this tournament. Dalsy, it is their last chance. If they lose a single game more, they are going home. It's going to be an exciting game coming up. My name's Action Jackson, here with Dalsy, as aforementioned. We got an interesting draft here, actually, from both sides. A very potent one coming out of G2, but a very interesting Adagio lock-in coming at the end of that draft there from Tribe.
Yeah, so the Adagio lock-in's very classic Zio here, looking to just play that weapon power Adagio and take over with his high mechanical skill needed for that. But let's talk about G2, because that's a little bit more interesting. That Lorelei in the jungle, like mentioned earlier, it could go with the Aftershock clockwork, so you have splashdown off cooldown, water war off cooldown all the time. Yep. Tassa played it earlier against Hunters in the day, and they dominated when they hyper-carried creation. We know G2 like to hyper-carry Hundor, so I'm expecting that to be the plan. Just get him that 4-item Vox build and try and run it down and take out Tribe.
Hundor has a pretty incredible Vox, to be honest. I do think that's a solid option for them, and I'm not surprised that when it all comes down to this one last game, they're trying to put him on something that can just really run away with a game.
It's very interesting because earlier, the aforementioned game, Korea versus China, it's a very much a play style difference where you have forced aggression versus calculation and late game style. Getting into this 3rd game, we've kind of got two regions that do the same. North America very aggressive, EU very passive and try and be conservative, and you've got those play styles coming out in huge spades here. So I'm really excited to see if G2 can pull this off, because if any comp can work into this aggressive style that Tribe have drafted, it has to be this one that G2 has drafted.
Absolutely. G2 versus Tribe. Tribe 1 win away from being the first team into the semifinals at Worlds 2017. You mentioned them as a dark horse earlier on, not qualifying through the championships, being the wild card from North America from the West. They certainly want to show up and put on an incredible performance. G2 Esports, though, the pride of Europe, the sole representative of the region, heading in 2017 Worlds, desperately trying to fight back. The early game going to be very impactful, you have to imagine, in this one. Of course, Grace and Koshka, a very strong early game duo. Are they going to look to put a lot of pressure on a G2 here?
We've been talking about a jungle Lorelei this whole time, and it's a jungle Arden coming out of Dark Potato. Very similar playstyle. It will be an Aftershock you'd feel into a clockwork type style, unless he has Tasty Bacon in mind and he wants to play some weapon power Arden. I think that would be a treat for Tasty Bacon. I'm not sure I would agree with that decision, but I think that the Crystal Power Arden is something that, you know, myself, Ex-Scoundrels, we kind of talked about 2.10's meta and what we might see coming out into Worlds. That was one of those really off-the-cuff picks that especially East Asia were pulling out in their games.
If we do see the weapon Arden, I better get my weapon Lyra. That's all. I mean, come on. It's got to happen. But Tribe, are they going to be able to shut down this Arden? You know, I would expect, perhaps with the jungle Lorelei, that Grace and Koshka could put a lot of pressure on, although hang on. Koshka's got to be careful. T-Tigers finds himself in a bit of a bind. Whoa. That's going to be a great plan coming down. T-Tigers, he's in a tough spot. Hundor's even here to find the backup. T-Tigers does have the boots active to get out of there, though. ends up just burning some of G2's time.
Koshka is such an annoying hero, man. Like, you stun her down, you lock her up, you put Kitty in the corner, and then she just runs away because she's so fast. T-Tigers knows exactly what he can do with this hero, and all this time it is, of course, Dienzio pushing into the lane with that minion candy, such an influential item here at the World's Update, and oh, Dark Potato's in trouble.
Yeah, he's trying to get that camp. He doesn't actually find it. That's bad news. He needed the regeneration. Meanwhile, in the lane, Keanu Koa nearly going down solo to Dienzio. That means that he doesn't have the backup. Look at this. T-Tigers, he forces a flask out of the members of G2 Esports. That is a big cooldown pop for basically no investment. Tribe continuing to lay on pressure here. It's going to be a missed stun from Keanu also. T-Tigers is burning all the cooldowns.
Yeah, and just about escaping that one there. This turret, though, is being pressured by Dienzio so heavily. Almost taking it down solo. T-Tiger's going to run away from Dark Potato here. There's almost no way
he wants to go back. What was that? T-Tigers bites off way more than he can chew, and now G2 Esports in hot pursuit. They're looking for more. Max Green, he's got to be careful. Can he get out of this one? Heal from Dienzio, buys some time, but he misses the Holy Nova. That's a kill. G2 Esports 2-0 up early in this game.
Yeah, that was a big mistake coming out of T-Tigers there. Disrespecting this Crystal Power Arden in the jungle, potentially forgetting it's a Crystal Power Arden in the jungle as well. Because of the fact that we're just so used to seeing Arden in that captain position, you can feel like you can take fights like that. Arden's a scary captain to do that into anyway because of his base damages, especially in the early game. But Dark Potato has that Storm Guard banner. He's building towards that Aftershock as well, and T-Tigers are going to have to be a little bit more respectful of this composition that G2's playing with.
He absolutely is. Tribe, even with that failed attempt under the turret there, do have a substantial amount of damage down upon it, and if they continue to siege, they will force the hand of G2, making them respond. Maybe this time Tribe not overextending so much, something to keep your eye on. That's going to be a good fish shoot there. Already the turret picked up. T-Tigers is able to walk in there, take it down, get out scot-free.
Yeah, and it's going to bring this gold difference back to even for Tribe here. G2 have been maintaining it. They've cut off. So
oh boy, T-Tigers, he wants to go in again. He has hit level 6, but a good reflex block from Hundor. Not going to be enough as Lorelei falls, though. Keanu out of the fight means Tribe has the numbers advantage. They want to keep this one rolling, slow coming through. Dienzio has a lot of damage right now. Flask popped onto Hundor. Might mean that he can turn around. Dienzio's got to be careful. Look at the damage. Hundor's actually annihilating Tribe right now. Flask bait not going to come through. Hundor smells it. Dienzio gets out of there, though.
Oh, it's Europe and their Treants rooting up North America, bringing some love over to the SCA region. You have to fear those European Treants in the jungle, supporting their team and almost gifting a kill or two over to Hundor due to that Treant route. But it is Tribe taking down Keanu Nakoa. They are looking to focus down this captain. They did so in the previous game, and they're doing it here as well. Recognizing Keanu Nakoa as a potential mental weakness of G2. This guy looks very chill in his demeanor, but has an emotional side to him that I think Tribe have been exploiting, and he's going to have to really get his head screwed on right because this composition that G2 have is just so good, and they can really start to win these mid to late game team fights. When Hundor gets to that late game stage, it's going to be very difficult for Dienzio to deal with him.
G2 Esports do not want this gold mine going the way of Tribe, but they might have bitten off a fight they can't fight here as Keanu Nakoa gets jumped on by T-Tigers. He's going to fall very quickly in this one. Dienzio is low. He's trying to take out Hundor. He manages to get the trade down. It's just Dark Potato 1 versus 2. He's got no way out of here. T-Tigers wants to come in. That's not the Lost Boy play. Tribe find themselves an ace.
Yeah. brilliant play coming out of Tribe, turning immediately onto a overextended Keanu Nakoa, who did not use his fountain whatsoever in that previous fight. They have truly got Keanu Nakoa on the back foot here, and just by some forced aggression, they're continuing to put it down. Goes down so quickly, and he just is unable to block up the Koshka ultimate as well. And from that point onwards, even despite losing Dienzio, it's clean up city for T-Tigers. And whilst it is a bit more of a scarier Arden in play because he has some damage in his kit, this kitty cat is able to clean up for the ace. Right now, Tribe Gaming are looking to snowball so heavily that Hundor never gets into a position where he can hyper carry.
But he does have that breaking point now, and if he can survive long in these fights, it could do a lot of work. T-Tigers doesn't want that to happen, though. Trying to take out Keanu Nakoa. This time, reflex blocks there. Hundor, he needs to kite backwards. He's taking a lot of incidental ambient damage from Tribe at the time being. That's going to be the gauntlet. G2 Esports want to stand their ground. Bounces coming through, but the damage not competing with what Dienzio has to offer. The first pick goes over to Tribe. Keanu Nakoa just cannot stay alive.
Yeah, the call was made there from G2 to escape, and Keanu Nakoa potentially overreaching, trying to land a fish food to catch up Tribe when they could have continued walking away from this composition. Tribe going to take away a gold miner here, AJ, and really just can solidify their position in this game, in this series as well. Hundor has got armor in his inventory as well, meaning he's going to be actually going a 3-item Vox build. Maybe he just holds on to that coat of plates for now and subs it out for a 4th damage item later, but it's not really a hyper carry Hundor if he's not building towards 4 items on the Vox, so something to care about, I think, in this game.
To be continued on that point, he's actually picked up an infusion and popped it already, so a lot of the money that he had, he's committing to fighting right now, which is actually quite curious. We'll have to see if it pans out for them. It's only a level 9 infusion. Max Green is coming in on the flank. G2's got to be careful not to overextend. No tier 1 turret available.
T-Tigers has just been focusing so hard on Keanu Nakoa here. It makes a lot of sense, really. Keanu Nakoa on this Lorelei, a very squishy target. Isn't the lowest health member, but is very squishy.
Go. T-Tigers trying to set something up again. Good gauntlet, actually. Stunning T-Tigers up, though. That buys a lot of time for the repositioning out of Hundor. He's still quite healthy, doing a lot of damage right now. Fountain already popped, though. T-Tigers wants to turn things around. He does get the trade-off. Keanu Nakoa, he's likely going to fall. Not actually. He just barely gets out of there, but unfortunately for him, Dark Potato cannot do the damage. Keanu might escape, but 2 of his teammates have fallen. Tribe keep taking these fights. Max Green, whoa, he is close to retribution range there, but not quite.
Yeah, and this is just an issue that Dark Potato is not quite able to provide any damage in these team fights. He provides a lot of utility for now, but he is effectively playing the role of a second captain for Hundor, and Hundor needs to be getting into those damage items, yet he is prioritizing defensive here, really looking to try and sustain in these team fights against T-Tigers and Dienzio. They're getting close, G2, getting very close to finding kills in these team fights.
Might have another one of those team fights kicking off right now. Keanu Nakoa jumped on yet again. This time, though, Max Green was extremely low right off the bat. Hundor, he's focusing so hard on Max Green, but he's not dealing with the fact that T-Tigers is already on top of him. He's trying to kite out. It's not going to be enough. Dark Potato is likely to fall here. Also, one more attack would do it. How is he getting out of this one? That is the boots active. T-Tigers locks it in. An ace comes through for Tribe. North America looking to send their first team to the semifinals if things keep going this way.
Yeah, the Dark Horses from North America, the wild card dream from challengers to unified second place to worlds has been Tribe's journey here in North America, and it's been a fabulous one to witness. Getting closer towards that semi-finals place. Very, very close, and G2 seemingly crumbling under the pressure here, not able to keep up with the aggressive plays from T-Tigers. Keanu Nakoa not quite able to be in a position where he can provide the utility he needs to on this Lorelei. That fight happening before the Fountain Fountain had refilled for him and the cooldown wasn't there.
There's a weapon infusion popped onto Hundor, but look at this. not actually trying to back up Keanu too much right now. T-Tigers has gone quite deep. Does take a lot of trade damage back from Hundor, but it is Keanu who's been suffering the most from that one. Having a recall means an easy gold mine from Tribe.
And it's really hard for Keanu because it's so easy for us to look at him being singled out by Tribe and blame Keanu for these team fights and for his deaths, but this is a really conscious decision that Tribe are making to single out Keanu. They could be focusing down Hundor in these team fights, but they are very much focusing down this Lorelei every single time. T-Tiger's looking to dive on into that.
Yeah, T-Tiger is continuing to try and make these plays happen. He does get the ultimate on the back line, but not find the stun. Hundor is doing a lot of work. He's got to keep kiting, though. First kill of the fight goes the way of Dienzio. Hundor, he's trying to kite, but he's not going towards safety. He's not going towards the base. He's going into the jungle. He's so low right now, can't do the damage. Keanu, this time, he is the last man standing, but he is going to be the last man falling as well. Tribe hunt him down into the jungle. It's an ace yet again. 13 kills to 4. Tribe want to lock things in style.
Yeah, looking to take down this choke point turret. And I think they will just make their way back over towards the jungle and finish off that Crystal Sentry afterwards. To continue on that, point that I was making, Hundor was really only the damage source for G2. Dark Potato doesn't have any damage to output in these team fights. He is effectively playing the role of a second captain here. Another Crucible has come through for him. He has shielding, he has armor in a Storm Guard banner. There's not much really to offer to the side of G2 if Hundor doesn't have the damage to output. He's going towards the Sorrow Blade now, looking to try and finish that damage build, but because of his prioritization on defense, it's not going to come through for quite some time here for G2, and time is not a commodity they have to waste, not a commodity they have to spend either. That Kraken's coming into the Hunter Halcyon Fold in just half a minute now, AJ. And Tribe are going to be in ready position to either team fight and take that Kraken or just, force G2 into a position they don't want to be.
Hundor urgently needs to pick up that next damage item. Dalsy, you're absolutely right. In a lot of these fights, he is actually surviving until, being the second member or something like that, but he just can't quite tear through Tribe's defenses.
Because of the fact that this is a hyper carry, protect the carry composition, you can't really focus the carry. You have to focus the assets that protect the carry. So that's either the Lorelei or the Arden, and that's what Tribe are doing in all these fights, is focusing either down Keanu Nakoa or Dark Potato, because Hundor's going to get shield after shield, movement speed boost after movement speed boost, but when you start to strip away that utility, then you can start to take down this Fox.
Atlas Pauldron picked up for Lorelei here. Keanu trying to give his team a little bit more space with that item. Could be quite useful, but look at this. Tribe already on the Kraken. As soon as it spawns, they are chunking through it. Dark Potato, he knows something's up, gonna spot what's happening. T-Tigers on the front line. He's going to get jumped on. Hundor, he's going straight onto the back, though. He wants Dienzio. The silence goes wide, only lands onto T-Tigers. First kill of the fight lands onto Keanu Nakoa. Hundor needs to keep kiting here. It's the same old story, Douse. He just can't do enough. That's the Holy Nova. Dienzio finds himself the kill. It's going to be an ace again for Tribe. They're quadrupling G2 Esports kills. They have a Kraken. They can go take. Dienzio can look towards base turrets, towards shoving the wave. Europe, their last hope, is really on the ropes right now.
Yeah, they certainly are, and it's been a fantastic run for Europe at this World Championship. G2 have outperformed expectations of the international crowd by taking games off these teams, off Team Kraken, off of Detonation as well. G2 have outperformed expectations, making it to the group stages here, but against Tribe, it's just such a hard task to complete, to take down this North American superstar team of Dienzio, Max Green, and T-Tigers. Dienzio and T-Tigers, we've known from so many previous live championships, get such a huge buff when they're together, and Max Green has just been a star shining so bright for them. It's all or nothing once more for G2, a position that they don't want to be in.
Here comes potentially a game-ending push from Tribe. They're looking to close things out right here, right now. G2 beginning their assault on the Kraken, have it at about half health prior to the initiation. here. That's going to be the gauntlet coming down. Dienzio's got to move. He gets out of there. Hundor trying to do some good work on the back line, but divine intervention keeps Dienzio so healthy. Hundor, he can't not do it. Dienzio is going to throw out the charm. He's going to pick up the kill. Tribe Gaming are the first team at Worlds 2017 to make it to the semifinals.
Tribe Gaming, a immaculate performance from them here in Singapore. They will solidify their chances of completing their one goal in 2017, which is lifting that VIPL trophy and taking it back to North America. Dienzio, T-Tigers and Max Green are such a formidable threat, and G2 will unfortunately exit the tournament here. What a fantastic performance Europe has had at this World Live Championship. But unfortunately, it all ends now. And it's all on Tribe to continue this run towards that semi-finals. And potentially, this dark horse could make it all the way.
Honestly, Europe, even though they've lost that game, I think that as a region, they should feel proud of their performance in 2017. Coming in, there were not particularly high expectations for them. As you said, historically, they've really struggled on the international stage, and they went incredibly far. They went further than last year's former world champions.
I mean,
G2, Europe, they look good.
G2 are the record setters here in Europe. First team to take down a North American team. They did that back in spring. First team to make it out of groups. They took down a Chinese team. They took down an East Asian team as well. They have really come leaps and bounds since the beginning of this year when they were the spring champions of Europe. And I've been so proud to watch this team, you know, grow over the year to make it to this stage of the World Championships. They can really pat themselves back on the backs and be happy with their performance here. Immaculate stuff from Europe, but hey, let's focus on the winners. North America Tribe have shown up and really just done their fans proud here. Tribe with just such a impressive and passionate crowd behind them. Their family is huge and they support their players like they are that of family. And I can't imagine how it feels to be at this stage of the tournament knowing you are just 2 steps away from that world championship.
I can imagine it feels pretty good, Dalsey. I got to be honest with you. I feel like Dienzio kind of knows this experience too. He was at Worlds last year. He had a pretty incredible performance then, and he's had an incredible performance in this series too. We have an interview on the stage with the winning team, Tribe, so let's throw it down to Dan Gaskin.
Thank you very much. Yes, here I am with Dienzio. Once again, I'm here with you. I mean, we've had 2 Unified Championships now where I've been interviewing you and you've been an absolute character. You've been dominating teams left, right and center. Let's talk about yesterday first, though. You had the previous world champions in your group. Did you realistically expect to get here today?
Yeah, we definitely thought we were going to get here today. We didn't play as best as we thought we could have, but we definitely knew we were going to get here.
And now, that match against G2, of course, there's a lot of history between you and G2. We rewind back to London. Your team was the first North American team to lose to a European team. What did it mean to you today to be able to take them down?
It definitely meant a lot to beat G2 because when we went against them in London, we were at a disadvantage because we had Sui on our team, and he just couldn't really do much, you know? And G2 just destroyed him, so Sui, don't forget that you lost with me, man. Don't forget.
To be fair, even the desk's at a disadvantage with Suijay there, so it's fine. All right, so your game tomorrow then is going to be against either C9 or Hunters. And now that is a potential rematch from the North American Championship Finals where you lost to C9. How are you feeling about that one?
Well, it's going to be, semis is going to be hard. We're going to be versing C9 because I think just C9 are a really dominant team and probably us or them can win Worlds. So I think we're going to verse them. And I think Hunters is a good team, but C9 is just a lot better.
All right, then a final message to any fans, any enemies out there.
Messages, just keep supporting us, guys, and we're here to stay and win.
All right, thank you so much once again, Dienzio. This man is an absolute champion. We'll throw this one back over to Munchables on the desk.
Thank you very much, guys.
what an interview from Dienzio. Feeling confident, feeling strong off the back of that victory. A 3-0 victory, no less as well. Phenomenal performance coming out from Tribe. They come into the quarterfinals. They came in as the favorites. They absolutely lived up to that expectation.
Even though I have some tire marks on my back, Zio, thank you so much for getting revenge. And your team did a phenomenal job, and excited to see you guys in the semifinals.
His next prediction is Tribe getting eliminated as soon as possible after that one. But, a great series from Tribe. The 3-0, very well-deserved by the way that they were playing in this series, and looking like a very formidable foe, looking like the team that wants to go to that World Championship.
Yeah, I mean, interestingly enough, it is the North American meta coming out here, dominating the competition so far, especially in this quarterfinals. I mean, G2, while they had, I was hoping they would be able to at least take a game or two to make the series interesting. They were not able to hold up against the early game aggression, and that's the result, 3-0 for Tribe.
It has to be said as well that the game that G2 did the best in was when they were going toe-to-toe in the early game, when they were the ones layering on the aggression as well. But fortunately, in the last couple of games, couldn't really put as much of a score. They did slightly better than game number 2, but unfortunately for them, it wasn't enough. But for Tribe fans at home, for Tribe fans everywhere, it is a 3-0 victory. Talk to me, guys, more specifically on this game. What was it that Tribe did that has managed to excel them at such a rate? Because that was quite a quick win as well. They weren't messing around in that game. They were making things happen. They were clearly eager to make it on into those semifinals.
Not only eager to make it into the semifinals, but also sending a message, because they knew who they were going to be up against in the semifinals if they were to get this win. They knew it was going to be either Cloud9 or Hunters, and they want to send a very clear message to those teams as well that they are not messing around. They are not going to be taking any opponents lightly on their route to the potentially initial finals.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tribe, honestly, phenomenal performance here. And we can take a look at our Razer replay of the series, as it is going to be Tribe managing to finish things off. This was the moment at which it was the end for G2. This was the moment at which Tribe managed to secure themselves the spot in the semifinals.
Yeah, able to get themselves into the right onto their opponents. That was one of the most impressive things, was when they chose to go onto a target, that target just went down so quickly. It was almost every time Lorelei being the priority target in this particular game, and they just did such a great job of executing.
Yeah, and so many times they were able to focus on Lorelei, and Keanu didn't get 2 fountains off in 2 fights, actually. But you can see decisiveness from Tribe, especially with synergy between Tigers and Zio. It's just amazing. Whoever they focus down, their health bar just deplete. And Lorelei was just a little too squishy and couldn't be that front line that G2 needed.
Yeah, I mean, talking about Keanu, I mean, in Europe, this team was struggling when Keanu was not playing up to par. He would be missing crucibles, missing fountains, and it seems like he's returning to a little bit of his bad old habits on this stage. Unfortunate for the team, but that does mean that Tribe were able to execute better and came out as the better team.
All right, let's take a look at the damage that was done during that game across the course of that third and final game in this series. I'm curious to see who was actually topping the tables, because in game number 2, it was very close between Dienzio and Tigers. And it looks like it is a similar situation here. This time it was Dienzio topping the table with his 43,000 damage done.
Yeah, able to get so much work done, but again, you still look at the rest of the team. Lots of damage being done by T-Tigers as well with this Kashka, especially in the early game. That's when Kashka has the most impact, is that early game when everyone's health bars are a little bit smaller, and the damage she does just chunks out that much more of a percentage of their health.
We just really like Haddad, you guys. That's why you see him multiple times in every damage graph we've had so far. But T-Tigers, you could see how much pressure he was able to put on in the early game throughout this series. Every single game he was able to play very aggressively, steal so many Elder Treants and Treants camps away from Dark Potato, and that allowed him to get so many levels ahead. Throughout the series, he would be 2 or 3 levels ahead even, and that just meant that later on the end could carry in the team fights.
I was very impressed at the 240 mark when G2 had the 3-man rotation, and they knew exactly where T-Tigers was, because they knew that his win condition was to invade jungle and steal farm, and they caught him off guard. They didn't get the kill, but that was very impressive by G2 to expect that and rotate as a 3-man unit.
Yeah, honestly, I think one of the things that Dowsy was saying on the caster desk right at the end of that series, G2 can be happy with their performance. Europe can be happy with... This can be a celebration of how far Europe has come, because yes, they didn't manage to win a game, but the first game was exceptionally close, and here in the tournament, they have done a phenomenal job. They've come further than a European has before in the history of the World Championship. So fantastic stuff coming out from G2. They can definitely go home with their heads held high. But Tribe, they're going to be moving on into the semi-finals with their heads held high. So they're going to be feeling very confident moving on forwards. Now we do have an MVP for this series. Our Razer MVP is going to be Dienzio coming on forward. He did such a phenomenal job, especially on his weapon power Sky. I think that was the highlight for me in this series.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm also curious about is what else does this team have in their arsenal? They showed the Adagio weapon power and they showed the Sky weapon power that Dienzio played so incredibly well, putting on so much early game aggression, getting kills, getting the first turret with the minion candies that you mentioned earlier, getting turrets before 5 minutes, before 4 minutes even at some time. So with Dienzio, in terms of how confident he is in lane, they were able to put on a show. Later on in the semis, I wonder what else they have in their pocket to pull out.
Yeah, and just amazing. I mean, Zio was known for his Vox, right? And then he made a name for himself with Scarf. And now with all these heroes, Baron to Adagio to Weapon Sky, I mean, phenomenal play. I mean, some of the best Weapon Sky, Weapon Adagio, and Weapon Barons I've ever seen. So Zio's hero pool has dramatically been deepened since he started playing Vainglory.
Yeah, and that's one of the most impressive things, and one of the things that makes it so difficult to draft against him and the rest of Tribe is the depth of their hero pools. You can't just pick one player and try and focus ban them away. You have to just try and focus on banning away specific strategies when you're playing against them, but even then, they have multiple different ways that they can win.
Now, Tribe are going to be moving on into our semi-finals, which means we have to bring up the conversation of their potential opponent. They're going to be going against the winner of Series 4 today, so they won't find out their opponent until very later on in the day. However, they were in Group A, which means they are against the second seed from the Group of Death. Or sorry, they're against the winner of the Group of Death semi-final, as it were. We've got Cloud9 going against Hunters later on today. Either of those opponents is a terrifying one, but Cloud9, that's the opponent that beat them in the Summer Championship.
Yep.
This, once again, just like this matchup against G2, this is kind of a grudge match for them. This is another monkey on their shoulders here.
Yeah, and I think if you're Tribe, you're actually hoping that you go up against Cloud9 here. One, because you want that revenge. Like, knowing the players, they want to get that level of revenge. But two, they're probably expecting Cloud9. And if they're going up against Hunters, that means Hunters beat Cloud9. And that is something that is terrifying. So you already know how good Cloud9 is. And if Hunters beats them and is better than that, all of a sudden your game plan has to go out the window and you need to figure something else out. So I think they're definitely going to be hoping that it is Cloud9 they end up against.
Absolutely. I mean, that is going to be a terrifying opponent, whichever one of them it is that comes on in. I cannot wait to see how that is going to pan out later on today, or in fact, that will be the semi-final tomorrow. But it's time to move on with the day. Now, before we jump on into our second quarterfinal, we have a very special giveaway that's going to be happening here on the stage. Now, you guys at home, I'm sure you've all heard of Google Play. And with all the new skins, all the new content that's going to be coming out over Christmas, make sure to grab yourself some Google Play cards as well. Fantastic Christmas present. But we're going to be giving some away here on the stage, here in the arena. So I'm going to pass it over once again to Gaskin to give some out to our crowd.
Thank you very much, Munchables. I got some of these bad boys, some Google Play gift cards for you guys in the audience. So what's going to happen? Wait, no, don't cheer yet. Don't cheer yet. What's going to happen is I'm going to ask you to make some noise if you want to answer a question. There is trivia involved here. And if you get the question right, you get one of these Google Play gift cards. So who feels like they can answer some Vainglory trivia? Make some noise. That's a lot of noise. That's more noise than I was expecting. All right, let's go back here. Big moment for you.
Hey, man.
What's your name?
Bouncy. Yeah, fun.
All right, so, question.
Yeah.
On Sunday, something very special is being revealed. What is it?
It's a 5v5 Vainglory. Woo!
You get yourself a gift card. There you go. Take one of those. Thanks, man. Marvelous. All right, second question. Who wants one of these Google Play gift cards? Just going to get cozy next to you. Yeah. Oh, these are comfy, aren't they? All right, next question for you. Latest patch, there was a new hero released. Who was it? Faria. That is correct. Gift card for you, good sir. Well done. All right, we're going to be doing plenty of gift card giveaways. We want to make sure everyone at home can get the new skins and everything. Everyone here is enjoying themselves. But that's all I've got. I've run out. I'll get some more later. Over to you, Munchables.
Thank you very much, Dan. Making people happy as always. But we are just before we jump into our next quarterfinal. I do have another announcement for you guys. Now, I mentioned very briefly earlier on today. Obviously, on Sunday, we are going to be unveiling the new game type for Vainglory. 5v5 will finally be hitting your screens. I cannot wait to see what is going to be happening on Sunday. I cannot wait to sink my teeth into that action. But we've actually got some extra games that are going to be coming your way. Previously, we're only going to be playing 1 or 2 games of 5v5, but instead, we're going to be adding a King of the Hill format to our games. Now, Renegades were already announced as our 5v5 team from Southeast Asia. They're going to be representing the region on the stage in 5v5, but they have a couple of extra opponents to go against. First of all, from Korea, they're going to be going up against Rox Armada. Our former world champions will be stepping up onto the stage to take them on in the 5v5 game mode. But then following that, Renegades, they're going to have to take on more than one opponent this time around. They're going up against Team Solo Mid, but this is a very special Team Solo Mid. They've got the 4 players, including Lucky Bread. They're going to be joined by Shin Kaigen in a reunion of Team Arden. Iraqi Zoro, you've played against these guys in the past. This is a long time ago. This is a reunion, as it were. Talk to me about this team.
Not only have I played with them against them, but I also lived with both FlashX and Shinkaigen for almost 2 months back when he joined them as the super sub when they were playing as Alliance in the VIPL. They won that championship. FlashX and Shinkaigen have incredible synergy. They also are great friends, so that's going to be a scary team to go up against, especially since they can prepare so much together. Both have so much Vainglory knowledge. Honestly, I cannot wait to see what they're going to bring out in 5v5 especially.
5v5 is going to be so hype. I cannot wait for Sunday. Honestly, guys, thoughts on the 5v5 games? Just a brief insight before we get on into our next quarterfinal.
First of all, it looks like that the championship Catherine skin with the little Easter egg in the background. Maybe that was actually a hint at things to come after all with Shin Kaigen, world champion. Maybe he's going to be the 5v5 world champion to start things off, but I cannot wait to see all the new strategies and different play styles that teams can bring to the table in the 5v5 mode.
Yeah, for me, 5v5, the map is so beautiful. And the objectives, the 2 dragons, I mean, it's amazing, you know, the amount of depth that this is going to add. And there's some cool things that you'll see later on that it's going to blow your mind. So I'm super excited for 5v5 and the future of Vainglory.
Yeah, we've all had a go on it on this point, and we're all very excited to let you guys see what is going to be happening with 5v5. That's going to be happening on Sunday. Make sure to tune in, mark it in your calendar, tell your friends, and get online on Twitter as well. Hashtag Vainglory Worlds. Let us know how excited you are for the of 5 versus 5. But it's about time that we continue with our World Championship here. We've already had one quarterfinal, Tribe taking that one 3-0 against G2 in that best of 5. And now it's time to move on to our second semi-final. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the one that I personally am the most excited for. We have a battle of the dark horses here. Not only do we have Team Kraken coming out